Rise and shine, Wild Pack. It's Bernadette, aka Mama Bear, and I'm here with your Pick a Card daily tarot reading for Sunday, July 18th, 2021. And the spirit animals go wild. Aroo! I got some sleep. Can you believe it? So listen, I'm so excited about the card. Thank but Lordy bejeebus, the goddess, the universe, the all that is, whatever it is you want to thank. Cardinal. That's who has flitted and fleeted and flatted in for you all on this beautiful Sunday. And man, it just couldn't be any more cool of a message that Cardinal brought, because Sundays are crown chakra days, and that's the day to explore your connection with the other side. If you're studying psychic development or mediumship or even intuitive tarot, shamanic journeying, especially soul retrieval, that kind of thing, Sunday's your day. Sunday got you. And so I just love this because I probably sound like a broken record a little bit, because just for months and months and months now, I've been like, I've never gotten that message before. I've never gotten that message before. Man, you all are really helping the animal spirit guides to help me expand the scope and the breadth and the whatevs of messages. And these animal spirit guides are taking on like this even more of a life of their own than I'd already experienced them being. So we're going to get into that in just a second. But real quickly, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you like the content, especially the free content that I produce here, or we produce here. The daily readings and all the tutorials and all that kind of thing. And please consider hitting the subscribe, hitting that subscribe button and the ringy dingy bell thingy to get your alerts, and also liking the videos. It's very helpful to me. It alerts the search engine gods at YouTube that, hey, at least a few people out there like her and like what she's doing, and they may make me show up in front of some other people too. Also, if you have any questions or you just want to hang out and talk about spiritual stuff, or, anything that's in my lane, please, please, please register. It's free to register for my forums, wildpackwisdom.com/forums. And please share these videos as often as you like on social media. That also helps get the word out for the animals. And so the more people that are aware of animals, the better they will do for them, right? Okay, so let's jump into why this card and this critter is just so important today. So really, when you talk about cardinal, and in particular red cardinal is a spirit totem and power animal, the meaning is what it is. The color red, it represents your root chakra. And yes, I know today is the crown chakra day, but we'll get into that in a second. And that blood color is about family ties and blood family and, all of that kind of thing. That said, when you talk about family, when you talk about blood ties, when you talk about tapping into your, opening your crown chakra and bringing in information, messages, omens from the other side, you're talking about a transformative kind of thing that's called shape-shifting, or being a walker in both worlds, a walker here and a walker there. It's what I do every day. I have to try to figure out how to navigate my mortal life, my human 3D life, while I'm receiving messages for whatever, person I'm working with, or group of you, like when I do the daily lives. Just kind of honing in on somebody, whammo bammo, does this make sense? Does this make sense? Why, yes, I did fall off a purple colored with pink polka dot slide when I was 3.5. Yes. Okay. That kind of thing. Right. So I kept hearing the Twitter in my ear of the red cardinal, and I was told to go look for information that I didn't know about them. And I'm no cardinal expert, right? But I like to think I know a fair amount about critters. And lo and behold, listen to this. Then it made perfect sense why I was supposed to go looking for the information and what it has to do with you today, which is actually this, like, man, If somebody would have told me this when I was first starting out developing my intuition and my psychic skills, I'd have been having a party, man. There'd have been a block party. So cardinals can be gynandromorphic. I had to listen to that a couple of times. And what that means is they can embody the gender of both male and female. And when you see it in a cardinal, that it does have those traits, because the female cardinals are brown, so they can stay camouflaged. The theory is so they can stay camouflaged and they can perpetuate the species and lay the eggs and that kind of thing. And the males are bright red, so that they get the attention and they get to, mate with the females, and they can draw danger away from babies and the mommies, right? Your mommies and your babies. Cardinal, let me tell you something. I'm being sweet about them, but if y'all have been around cardinals, they can be sassy. They can make hummingbirds look like little angels flitting around your yard. And hummingbirds, man, they must think they came from the medieval times and they are like swashbuckling heroes, because with that sword on their, that is their beak, my gosh. Okay. True story. I really do think I saw one time with a marshmallow at the end of his beak, roasting a marshmallow I left outside one time over the embers of a fire pit we had. Anyway, these are the things that happen in my head. So what that really has to do with when you see an gynandromorphic cardinal, half the body is brown and half the body is bright red. And it might be splotchy here and there, but really at the end of the day, half the body's red and half the body's brown. When we talk about moving in between worlds to receive messages, same thing. You're holding both worlds inside of you. You are both worlds on the outside of you. And so today's message really, really is, if you want to connect with your ancestors or someone else's ancestors, you just got to open up the portal and step right through it, or just open it up and invite it in to, have some tea and crumpets or something on your sofa, a glass of wine, maybe some kombucha, and just hang out and chitty chat. Now, the other thing that I kept hearing when I was like, man, this is a really cool, Cardinal is coming to support you all today in any way that you want to be a walker in both worlds, in any way that you want to transmutate and maybe live, or maybe even get a more distributed balance between the feminine divine and the masculine divine. And then if gender is not something you identify with at all, okay, that's part of the whole too. That's part of the balance, right? So whatever you identify with or don't identify with is really not the thing. It's not a thing. But it does pertain to this reading as regards, I'm going into this world, I'm coming back to this world, I'm opening up my crown chakra, I'm going to shut it down for a little bit, I'm going to let in and interpret what I'm getting, that kind of thing. The chatter that cardinals are wont to do, are like to do, I can't decipher it. I can as an animal communicator, I can tell you how they feel. Can I prove it? I've never interviewed a cardinal before. But you get to know your spidey senses after a while, and you get to learn the difference between that is Bernadette's mind that sees hummingbirds with marshmallows on the end of their beaks, roasting them in what's left of her fire pit. So they can join in the fun too. Pure fantasy, pure story writing, pure storytelling. And what really feels like, oh, that bird had an incident at wherever, whatever. Okay. If you've been just not understanding what the spiritual chatter is that's coming to you, or you might be having family issues, like the wave of communication is just not the dealio, and lines are getting crossed and people are getting their feelings hurt and they're making assumptions and getting their little hind ends up on their shoulders. This is the day that you just take a very quiet step back and intuit the way to make those worlds merge in a balanced, successful, happy manner. So this really is a multi-dimensional, pick a card tarot reading for today. And it is definitely a call for you to see things beyond what you're currently seeing or what you think you're currently seeing. Because maybe what you're seeing is not the whole of it. Maybe the chitter chatter from the other side, from the other family member, they may be expressing themselves perfectly logically and rationally. Maybe it's how you're hearing it that is not helping you and or the situation. And only you can know that. Only you can know that. Only you can walk in both worlds and ask the world of spirit, like whatever your spirit animal is, your totem animal, your power animal. At this moment, you're being asked to work with cardinal, red cardinal in particular. It doesn't mean you have to. It just means, you ever seen a cardinal when they want something? They'll get up just like a hummingbird. They'll come up to your window. They'll be, they'll be like flying by. They'll be like, looking at you. They're looking at you while they're flying by. It's the funniest thing ever. It really is the funniest thing ever because they're going to get what they want. So, it really is about communication in the most ethereal sense. It's about communication in the spiritual sense, in the emotional sense, and just straight up words, because words matter. Now, let me say what I mean by that. I just noticed I even grabbed my hot pink cup. I'm drinking in the cardinal energy today. I need the otherworldly energy. Whoop, whoop. Okay. Just because you don't understand someone else does not mean that they're not right. And it really isn't about right so much as it's about what's going to be the great balance for you all to meet together if you want and do a conflict resolution. Now, that's not as easy a process as working it out or talking it out. I mean, conflict resolution is like a real thing where there are steps, where there are rules and regulations, that kind of thing. But sometimes it does call for that. And that means it might call for it with yourself as well. Because in the chitter chatter, and going back to what the point really is, which is words matter. Animals don't use sounds. They don't just talk smack. They don't. They have a specific intent for every sound they utter. Every sound. I don't know this to be true. I can't prove it, but I just don't believe that rhinos or hippopotami gather around the water cooler that is their rivers and say, "Did you see what she was wearing today? Did you hear that so-and-so is doing such and such?" They don't talk about nonsensical reality shows on TV, and they don't, except for MasterChef or anything having to do with cooking. That's not nonsensical, just so you know. So, they just don't do that. And what that means is they just only, if y'all are hearing that noise, that's my dog Hops. She sounds like a freight train and she's a Chihuahua Terrier mix. But anyway, you are really being encouraged today to measure your words very carefully and be very clear about your intent behind them. Case in point. In particular, when it comes to email, text, Facebook, any kind of written word, be very clear. And if you're confused by something or you're triggered, you are being called to clarify that with whoever the other cardinal is that you're trying to communicate with. But let's say that somebody writes you and uses the words, "Apparently this is not happening today." Okay. You and I both have been around people for whom that passive aggressive thing, well, apparently things are not happening today. And then we've been around people for whom that's just a statement of fact. There's no emotion attached to it. There's no agenda attached to it. Oh, okay, I get it. Apparently this is not happening today. Two different things. So before you react to someone else's chitter chatter and you stroke out, maybe you want to get some clarity. They may not mean what you think they mean. Likewise, just the opposite. You may get caught in a situation where you're like, how did that person come to that? I don't, and then you'll go back through your communication and go, oh, well, I could have done this at this point, not anticipating they would have a reaction. Or I could have done, where of this is sort of circling all back to is your greatest ally today is going to be spirit. Your greatest ally is going to be red cardinal, and definitely your best ally is going to be your own intuition and willingness to open up and see things in ways that you didn't see before. Because I'm telling you now, I do not know what is coming. I feel like it's coming in the summer, and it will be to you before fall. If you've got a large change that you've been wanting to make, if you've got something really big that you want to say to yourself or to someone else, I'm telling you, the end of July through like the middle of August, but really just tipping on that front week of August, a dime to the proverbial Krispy Kreme donut says I get a gajillion D messages about holy cow, holy free holies, all that is holy. This changed, then this changed, then this changed, but I wouldn't have known about it unless this happened. That I don't know what it is, but I know that you can feel it too. And the reason I know that is when I look at what people are writing on the forums, in my forums, wildpackwisdom.com/forums, that I don't know if they know it consciously, but I see the winds of change in all the words that they're using. Some of them are using words that I've never seen them use before. They've been posting there for a few months. Never saw them use those phrases before. It's so cool because it's just exciting. Like this change is, if you've been missing the magic in your life, if you've been having a crisis of faith, this is going to restore both of those, and it's going to be just beautiful. So I hope that was helpful. Pick up your copy of the Arcanimal Tarot and Oracle deck, subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the little ringy dingy bell thingy and get the alerts. Please, 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 please share these videos all around social media. What else do I need? Get over to the forums, but listen, enough. What is the most important thing today and every day? To do what? To do good for animals and stay wild.